welcome to a new video. For today's video, I thought I could give you some spring book recommendations because it has been feeling more and more like spring for the last few weeks, and I think that is perfect timing to give you some book recommendations that I think are worth your time, and especially in the springtime. Let's start off with some romance books. So first up we have Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I recommend this book all the time. Like every single time I do a book recommendations video, I recommend this book. But it's just so sweet, and it's a romance story, and it's also a graphic novel, so you can really fly through this. It's a series as well, so if you get hooked, you can just fly through the entire series. And I reread this almost every year, and it only takes me like 3 days, even though it's like a 5-book series. But it's just so amazing and so sweet, and there's also a great TV show that you can watch if you get hooked. So yeah, I always recommend this, but it's just amazing. Next up we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This one is also a very fun romance story that takes place in a small town, but it is like really sweet, and I really enjoyed the dynamic of the main characters, and just everything about that was super fun. And yeah, I just think it's also very fun for the springtime. I think it's actually set in spring, like during the springtime. I'm not sure exactly, but I believe that is the case. So yeah, this is also very sweet, and this is also about bookish people, so that just makes it even more fun. Now we have Ali Hazelwood's Love on the Brain. I also just recommend this book all the time because I love it so much, but this is about a woman in STEM. For the people who know Ali Hazelwood, that will sound familiar. And I would especially recommend this book instead of some of her others, because it is just so fun. The vibe of it feels very happy, and the main character is also kind of bubbly, I would say, and I feel like that kind of fits with a spring vibe. And the romance is also very sweet, and there was a crazy plot at the end that I didn't expect. And the fun thing about her books is that you don't need to be like into science to read them, even though a big part of them takes place in science fields. So this one is like, there is a neuroengineering project at NASA, and the main character gets a job there, and you're like, I don't know anything about neuroscience or neuroengineering. Same. You don't need to know anything, you just need to read the book because it's great. And now we have another small town romance, and that is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I also yapped about this a lot last year because that's when I read this. This is actually an interconnected standalone series. There are 2 more books that come after this one that I also really enjoyed, so definitely read those if you like this one. But this is about a woman who left her small town to live in the big city, but then returns home for her stepsister's wedding, because she's a photographer, and her stepsister asked her to like take pictures of all of the wedding events and stuff like that. And then she ends up falling in love with her stepsister's best friend. So it's a really fun book, and I really loved it. And especially if you like this one, you can also continue the series, which is also very amazing. I would definitely recommend doing that. And now we actually have a duology that I would recommend, but I don't have the first book with me because I lent it to my sister because I was like, you need to read this! And that is the Mischiefs and Matchmaking series or something like that. But the second book is You're the Problem, It's You, and the first book is More Than a Best Friend, and the second one is called You're the Problem, It's You by Emma R. Alvin. And I also really like this book, especially for the springtime. Who would have guessed it? Because this takes place in like the 1800s or something, but it's honestly so fun, and especially in the first book as well, because I think the main characters in the first book are a little bit younger than the ones in these, so it feels more playful in a way. But yeah, it's queer romance stories set in the 1800s, so it's really fun. And I feel like, especially for the springtime, because there are a lot of really fun events, like, I don't know, they play cricket or I don't know, stuff like that, and it's really fun and cute and worth the while. And this one also includes the characters from the first book, so you should definitely read them in order not to be spoiled. But yeah, it's really amazing, so read it. And now I have a really random non-fiction book that I would like to recommend. I don't know why this gives me spring vibes, but it just does for some reason, and that is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This is, I mean, a lot of people probably heard about this, it's like really popular, but this is just notes on her life and about different experiences she had and like looking at them in retrospect and stuff like that. I also thought the audiobook was very good. I audiobooked this one. So if you want a fun audiobook while spring cleaning, maybe, this one is definitely the way to go. I think you can fly through this in a few days, and it's really, really interesting and fun and kind of crazy to listen to because this woman had a crazy life, honestly. But it's super fun. It just feels like she's gossiping with you. I also have one fantasy book that I would like to recommend, and that is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, of course. You might also know that I'm obsessed with this book as well. It follows a girl who makes a deal with a fate, and then she has to do certain things, and it is so amazing, and the world of this is so whimsical and magical and adorable. She also has pink hair, which is fantastic. I mean, that's just the goal, I guess. And yeah, it's just a really fun story. It's also a trilogy, so if you like the first book, you can continue the series, you know, there's a pattern. And yeah, it's just so cute and whimsical, and I love it very, very much. Now I have two more books that I would like to recommend. These are like literary fiction-esque, I would say. The first one is I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. It's honestly been a while since I read this one, but I remember that I really enjoyed it, and it is kind of about being a fangirl and the like relationship you have with the like band or something you are a fan of, and it kind of follows the perspective of a fan and also of a person in the band that is in this book. And I don't know, it's a really fun book, and also deals with some heavier topics because this is Alice Oseman. Of course it deals with heavier topics, but not in a way that is like depressing or anything. It's just in a way that is like eye-opening, I would say, more so. And yeah, I just really like all of her books, but I feel like out of all of her novels, this one is definitely the most spring vibey, maybe also because of the cover, because it's just cute. But yeah. And now lastly, we have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I only read this very recently actually, and I absolutely loved it. So that is why I'm recommending it, obviously. And this basically just follows two people throughout their entire life, or not their entire life, but throughout a good chunk of their life, and how their relationship changes and develops. It's also mostly small town, but then they move to a bigger city and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's really fun, and it takes place in Ireland, which I feel like not a lot of books are set in Ireland for some reason, but it was a really fun book. And also, like, I imagined the accent sometimes, and I just thought that was kind of funny to be honest. But yeah, it's just a very heartwarming story, kind of a love story, but not really. I wouldn't really classify this as a love story, more so just as literary fiction. But yeah, it's very unique, I would also say. I feel like you can't really sort it into categories. It's just its own book or something. And now I also thought that I could maybe talk about some books that I would like to read in the springtime. So this is a really random pile of books. I don't know if I will actually end up reading any of these, hopefully, but we'll see because my reading mood shifts a lot. So I actually have two classics on this list, which is crazy, I know, but I thought I could maybe do a video of reading classics. This is only crazy because I personally don't like classics. Like, I've read some classics in the past and I just don't like them that much. So I want to try and get into classics because I know classics are like up here, but I just haven't really... Maybe I read the wrong ones, probably because a lot of the ones I read I had to read for school. But even those are like I read Metamorphosis by Kafka and I didn't like it. And maybe if I will go in a different direction, it'll be better. And I picked up The Great Gatsby and also 1984. I didn't pick these up. I had these on my shelf because my sister read them and liked them. So hopefully I will like them too. This motivates me because it's very tiny and maybe I can fly through this or something. But yeah, I'm really scared of classics, to be honest. There are also a few more classics that other people have recommended to me recently that I might include in this video if I have the capacity to actually create this video. But I really would like to do that, and I feel like classics give me spring vibes for some reason. Like, maybe not 1984 because I feel like that will be very depressing and crazy, but The Great Gatsby definitely gives off springy, happy vibes. I don't know if that is true because I haven't read it. Maybe I'm talking complete, I don't know, nonsense. But yeah, we'll see. And then I would also like to pick up Welcome to the Hyungdong Bookshop. My sister read this book. A lot of these actually are basically my sister recommended me books. And I just feel like, especially the cover gives me spring vibes, and I feel like it could potentially be similar to The Storied Life of A.J. Hickory, which I love very dearly because it's like a bookshop and stuff like that. I think it's also like more so literary fiction, which I feel like is also very fitting for the springtime for some reason. I don't know, maybe not, but don't know anything about this to be honest, but hopefully it'll be cool. Then I would also like to read Looking for Alaska by John Green, which is really random, but my girlfriend actually recommended this to me and she loves this book, and I have been wanting to pick up a John Green book for a while, so I thought maybe this one. I don't know, I ordered it off of Vinted and it was like €1, so. And then lastly, I would really love to read Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, because as I mentioned, I recently read Normal People and I loved it, so I hope that I will love this one too, because I feel like her books are just so unique and very different to other books or other authors especially, so I hope that this one will find me well. And I don't know, her books feel springy to me. Also, maybe it's the colors from the cover. I feel like the covers have a lot of impact on how I interpret the books, but that's okay. So yeah, these were all of the books that I think you should read and that I think I want to read. If you have read any of the ones that I put on my TBR, definitely let me know which ones I should read first. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, maybe like, comment, or subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!